All right. Hey, everybody. Good to see all of you. So it looks like we got a bunch of new people on here today, which is fantastic. Let's see. I feel like I need a couple of role players today. First of all, if you can hear the sound of my voice and you are appropriately dressed from the waist up and not operating a motor vehicle, please turn your camera on. And you think I'm making a joke, don't you, everybody? I am not. All of the instructions I give are from hard-won knowledge, one way or the other. Only Nitish and Greg turned their cameras on. Really? Wolf Klein, Jerry Zhang, Ali Khan, Norm, Harpreet, another Norm, Theo, Prince, Nicole, turn your camera on. Corin, I see you, Corin. Turn your camera on. I know we still need to get you scheduled for that one-on-one. Turn your cameras on. Melrose. Okay, good. Turn those cameras on. I want to see you guys. All right, so my name is Dale Archdekin, founder of Smart Sales Coaching, and we're going to be working on converting internet leads in 4 steps. I need a couple of role players today who are going to demo for other people when I call on you. So Julie Hine, you're going to role play with me today. Owen Lennox, you're going to role play. Derek Turchi, you're going to role play. Have you role played with me before? I feel like I might have role played with you before. Okay, and Prince MS. Yep, you're going to role play with me today, okay? Good? Remember your names, because I'll tell you when to unmute yourself, and you're going to role play. The purpose of you guys role playing is that you're going to demonstrate these things for other people. First, you're going to demonstrate the very common elements that we get wrong when we're talking to our leads and prospects. And then I'm going to teach you a couple of techniques, and you're going to role play it the right way. How does that sound, everybody? Shake your faces up and down. Okay, good. Now, I know I got half of you people here are new, so let me get the slides up for you, and then we will get started. Corin, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I want to know that you're there. I saw your name. I want to make sure that you're here. Okay. Let me share my screen again. So where this information comes from today that I'm going to be talking with you guys about. Now, I'm not going to tell you this stuff to brag. I will tell you why I'm going to tell you this after I do, though. So the information, this training I'm going to give you guys today, here's where it comes from. It comes from my partners and I building and scaling a real estate team in the city of Philadelphia, which ultimately became the #2 team for a number of years in the city of Philadelphia. We had a little over 30 agents, and we were doing 650 transactions. We became a top 5 KW mega team. That's where a lot of this training comes from that I'm going to give you today. Part of within that team, I created an ISA department, and my ISAs individually could produce between 36 to 60 transactions each in their first year. Now, I know most of you are Canadian. Down here, there's a program called Zillow Flex that basically is like ready to go see leads, right? They want to go see houses. I built and optimized this team before Zillow Flex even existed. So the strategies and techniques I'm teaching you today are also what enabled those ISAs to produce that many transactions in their first 12 months. When I was in production, I personally got myself up to the point where I was able to take on average between 5 to 7 listings every single month, calling for sale by owners, expireds, door knocking, calling for rent by owners, actually doing the cold prospecting work to generate the business, and I became one of the top listing agents for cold outbound outreach in my market. And now my company and we train thousands of agents every year, including the top 5% of the Real Trends 1000, which is a website you can go check out. And it ranks all of the teams and agents, mostly in the US. I don't think it ranks Canadian teams, but it'll give you a good sense of the type of clientele that my company services. Here's why I'm telling you this. It's not because I'm an egomaniac, no matter what my wife says. I'm telling you this because anyone can tell you how to talk to leads. Anybody can tell you how to be a salesperson. Anybody can try to teach you sales scripting, right? How many of you on this video have sold a house before? How many of you? Congratulations, you are now a sales trainer in our organization, our industry. And in fact, even you can still be a sales trainer and not have sold any houses. There's a few of those too. Also, many trainers and gurus in our industry talk from theory. They don't talk from actual practice. They haven't actually done it. And I've done it personally for many years. My agents, the agents I've trained, managed, the ISAs I personally invested money in, paid to convert our leads for us, which is very expensive to do. They were very successful using these techniques and strategies, and our students are now very successful using these techniques and strategies. That's why I'm telling you this stuff, so that you know where what I'm about to teach you comes from and that it actually makes a difference. And here's what I want to tell you. After, doing this for being in sales for the last 30 years and being a sales trainer in real estate for the last 12 years, if you are not hitting your goals, you are not going on enough appointments every week. That's the one thing you have to fix. You will hit your goals if you can go on enough qualified appointments per week. And if you aren't going on enough qualified appointments per week, I know that it's probably because you're not making enough asks in the right way. You aren't asking for the appointment enough times in the right way with enough people for you to go on enough appointments per week. And if you aren't making enough asks in the right way, it's probably for one of the following reasons that I'm going to list for you. So I have a database of over 38,000 agents and teams from both the US and Canada, based on the amount of time that we've been doing this. And we polled over 4,000 agents, and we just asked them, what's holding you back from setting more weekly appointments? On average, these were the most common answers that they gave. These were the reasons that they said they weren't going on enough qualified appointments. Lack of motivation, fear of rejection, not enough leads aren't good, don't know who to contact, not enough time, don't know what to say, leads don't respond, can't overcome objections, and trouble staying on track. For how many of you identify with at least one or two or three of the items that are on this list right now? Yeah? Okay, it's really common. It's not just you. This is what we're all dealing with as real estate agents. And if I take these issues, I can condense them down into 3 core concepts that are in the way of you hitting your goals and finding more success. If you look at these, they stack up into one of these 3 categories. Your sales skills, your ability to have conversations, get into conversation, stay into conversation with a lead, and to have it turn into an appointment or a next step or a contract. 2, your schedule. You don't have a good, productive schedule that focuses on the most important elements that you have to do to move your business forward and aren't doing it consistently. And 3, you don't have a good lead process that you follow, a good, efficient lead process that can, in the shortest amount of time possible, identify the highest value targets, help you get in front of them, and not forget who they are. These are the 3 things that are missing from your business. Today, I'm going to be working with you on number 1, which is skill set. And I'm going to be teaching you some core skills that are going to make the difference for you. Okay. I'm working to help you guys get more appointments. And we're going to be working on the core 4 today. The core 4 sales skills are introductions, how you get into a conversation with a lead or a prospect, objections, your process around handling objections and whether or not you have one. Closing for appointments, how you ask for an appointment with a buyer or seller. And value propositions. What I call your value proposition, imagine having to answer the question to a prospect. Why should I buy my house with you? Why should I list my house with you? Whatever comes out of your mouth after that is your value proposition. And we're going to cover this today. Sound good? Shake your faces up and down. All right, good. Let's talk about why leads say no to you. And what I mean by no to you is why they won't talk to you, why they don't give you their story, why they say no to you, why they don't want to have a second interaction with you, why they don't agree to meet with you or list with you or sign with you or whatever. But first, let's go through this little mental exercise with you guys, okay? Let's say it's a nice warm summer day and you have some time to kill, right? You're waiting for your dry cleaning to be done or for your daughter's 4,000th ballet lesson to be over and you don't feel like sitting there. Okay, it's a nice warm summer day. You have nothing better to do. And next door is this beautiful car dealership with all these nice shiny cars out there. You have no intention of buying a car today. You have no budget to buy a car today. You have no need to buy a car today. Okay, but you're just going to go walk around and look at the cars. You're out there walking around, having a good time, and then you see this guy. This is Jeff. Jeff sells cars. What is Jeff's purpose? Chat it in for me. What is Jeff's purpose? What is Jeff's purpose? Let's look at the chat. Go ahead. What chat it in? What's Jeff's purpose? To sell a car. To sell a car. To sell you a car. Right? This is Jeff's purpose, to sell you a car. Now, we see this guy as one-dimensional, right? He represents one purpose, one self-serving purpose. When somebody asks you what you do for a living, right? When somebody asks you, hey, how do you treat your clients? What do you do for your clients? You would give me all sorts of flowery language. Like, I'm a consultant. I help them in their needs. I consult and give advice to my clients, right? I want to build rapport and build a relationship with them. I want to work with them through their whole, life cycle and work with their friends and family and be a trusted advisor. Don't you guys say all those fancy things about yourself? Isn't that how you identify in real estate? Yes, that's how you identify yourself. What's the difference between the way that you view yourself as a real estate agent versus the way we view Jeff, the car seller? The difference is that we view ourselves in this three-dimensional view, right? We're holistic. We know what our intentions are. We actually care about our clients or care about our prospects, and we want to build this relationship and all this flowery stuff. The consumer in us views salespeople one-dimensionally. A salesperson represents one thing, right? Which is selling me something, or getting me to make a decision, or getting me to change my mind, or talking me into taking an action. This is a very important distinction I want you to understand. The difference between my training company and most of the other sales garbage training out there that you're going to see is that this is based on being much more consumer-centric, understanding both sides of the equation between salesperson and prospect, right? Salesperson and consumer. When I finally realized this in my own life and I got this perspective, it helped me have much better conversations with my leads and my prospects. It actually helped me be much more approachable and much more collaborative and be happier about doing it. Because when I first was learning how to sell, both in this industry and other industries, I went through the other same sales training where it's like, hey, try to like verbally trick them and argue them if they say they're not going to do it now or not going to do it with you, and kick in the door and don't get off their couch until they sign the papers or call the police kind of training. And that is not what we do. I've mended my ways and now understand how to have somebody I was just talking to yesterday said, this is the first training I've ever found where I could see how to take customer service and apply it in a sales scenario, right? That's the difference, and this is what I'm going to show you guys today. Before I get to role-playing, it looks like Julie Hine is just here to listen. Right, Julie? Okay, got it. So you're not in sales, right, Julie? No. You know what's funny is I could totally teach you how to do this stuff even if you're not in sales, but we'll find another role player. All right, how about Patricia McCallum? You're going to stand in for Julie. You're going to role play today. How does that sound? Just shake your face up and down. Okay, good. She's acknowledged. All right, why the basics, everybody? The basics because here's what I can tell you. As a sales trainer, I've been doing this, like I said, for 12 years. The other day, I just flew down to Tampa to do a training for a big brokerage down there. And I was on the plane, and I was working on this slide. And I was like, man, I've listened to so many sales calls. How do I tell these people I've listened to so many sales calls that I know what patterns to look for? I was like, I'll tell them it was like 500 calls. And then I'm like, oh, 500 doesn't sound very impressive. I'm like, all right, well, I'll say 1,000. And then I was like, round numbers just sound made up. Let me try to do some math and figure out how many actual calls I've listened to over my 12 years of training and coaching. So I started doing the math. And I'm like, okay, let's say that I've been training for 12 years. Let's see. Emily, can you let Gada Elia in from the waiting room, please? They're stuck in the waiting room. I've been coaching and training for 12 years. And I've reviewed at least 12 calls per month, right? And in some, there have been definitely periods of times where I reviewed more than 10 calls per week, but let's just say 10 calls per month. So 10 calls times 12 months, right, is 120 calls per year, super conservatively. And I've been doing this for 12 years. So 120 times 12 is 1,440 sales calls, bare minimum, that I've listened to. And what I can tell you is that you all have patterns, okay? So why the basics, Dale? Do I have permission to speak bluntly with all of you? Yes? Okay. In general, you sound worse than you think you do. You sound worse on your sales calls than you actually think you do. Now, the problem is that when I teach salespeople, and I'm like, hey, salesperson, when they say this, you should say it like that. 90% of you would be like, oh yeah, Dale, I do that like that all the time. I totally do that. I do it every time. Oh, okay. And then we'll role play it, and you won't do anything I said because you'll do the stuff you normally do that sounds decent to you, right? And then we'll practice it, and then we'll practice it, and you'll get better, and you'll get better, and then you'll be able to do it really good, and we can role play, and you sound awesome. And I'm like, great. Now go say that to the consumers, right? You're going to go say it to the consumers, and then you're going to come back, and I'm going to say, great, how many contracts did you get? How many appointments did you get? None. All those leads suck. Okay, did you say the things I said to say? Oh yeah, totally did, just like we practiced, exactly like we practiced. And I'll say, great, let's listen to your phone calls. And you won't say a damn thing we practiced. It is completely different from what we practiced. Why? Why is it completely different? I've never been in the military, but I'm going to assume that actually getting shot at is way different than what they train you for when they teach you about getting shot at. Okay? What do I mean by that? We can talk about theory. Now, first of all, you probably sound worse than you think you do. We can talk about theory, and you can say, okay, cool, I understand your theory. And then I make you practice it, and you can't actually do it until we practice it a couple times. And then you can practice getting shot at, and then you run out there, and the consumers and leads start shooting at you, and you're like, oh shit, I'm just going to do what I did before, because I totally forgot what that guy said. Then we have to listen to it. So we practice, we listen to it, we practice, we listen to it, and then what? Guess what? Magically, those techniques and strategies start to show up in your recordings, and you're actually saying it to the consumers, and you're actually getting a difference. You're getting a different result, and it's magical. So this is why I'm going to be starting with the basics here, and this is why I've asked a few people to role play, and I want to give the people that are going to role play with me permission to do it wrong. Okay? You have permission to do it wrong. You have permission to sound bad. You have permission to slightly embarrass yourself. It's okay, because the other people listening to you are going to hear the patterns that they do too, and they're going to identify with it. And then when I teach what to do, it will make more sense for people versus me just saying, do it like this. Does everybody get that? Okay. That, in a nutshell, was my 12 years of sales training experience condensed down into a how do I actually get you to change what you're doing and be better about it. All right, so people who know they are role-playing with me. I called your name. It's Patricia. Who else? Prince, Derek, and there was one more person. Was it Owen? Okay, Owen, cool. Now, I'm trying to stick with time here to get all the way through this. Here, we're going to do introductions, okay? So I would like Patricia, my role players, Patricia, Derek, Prince, and Owen, unmute yourself, please. Emily, do they have the power to unmute themselves? Emily, please grant them the power to unmute themselves. Emily is my assistant, who is in the background. There we go.
I have the power.
You have the power. Okay, good. Now, we're going to role play intros. Here's the scenario, okay? I am just a random internet lead. I've come to your website, your amazing website. I have traded my name, my phone number, and my email address in order to look at pretty houses for sale. I have not asked for anything. I haven't favorited. I haven't responded to the 15 messages you've sent me so far, right? I've taken no action, responded to nothing. All you have is a name, a phone number, and an email. You're going to call me, all right? You're going to say ring, ring. I'm going to answer the phone. Let's go by alphabet. Whoever's first name is higher in the alphabet goes first. That would be Derek.
Goes first.
All right, Derek, you say ring, ring. I'll answer the phone.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, it's Derek from DSR. Just giving you a quick shout because you're on our site browsing for places in Langley. Just wanted to see how we can help with your home search.
Okay, thank you, Derek. Everyone, applause for Derek going first. Yeah, great. Okay, good. Now, what was Derek's question? His question was, I want to see if I can help you with your home search. Okay, thank you, Derek. Let's go alphabetically from there. Who's next after D? I got two P's and an O. O-P or P-O. Who remembers their alphabet?
Owen.
Owen, you're next. Thank you very much, Patricia.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey Dale, you registered on my website, so I was just checking to see, are you planning on purchasing soon, or are you just browsing to see what's out there in the market?
Okay, thank you, Owen. Owen, where did you get your scripting from?
I was talking to one of your lovely ladies 2 days ago now, I think.
So weird. I wonder how it is that I picked up and know that he spoke to somebody in my organization. Great job, and I'm very proud to hear some of it get in there. Good stuff. All right, P-A-P-R. P-A.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi there, Dale. It's Patricia McCallum from Remax here. Just wanted to follow up with you regarding your inquiries and your registration in our web search and wondering how I can help you today.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. And Prince.
Hi, Dale. This is Client Care. You were on our site, just wondering if you liked anything.
Okay, if you liked anything. Got it. Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Now, everybody give them a round of applause because I made them do this blind without any instruction. And Owen happened to get a little instruction from my team. And so I'll explain to you how I know that. Okay, I'm going to teach you about introductions real quick. All right? So introductions, best practices. I want you to understand this concept. Remember Jeff, the car dealer, car sales guy? We all said, Jeff just wants to sell me a car. Every single consumer that you call wants to know three things when you call them. Who are you? Why are you calling me? What do you want? Right? Who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? That's what we all want to know when we get a phone call. So you need to answer those three questions as quickly as possible for them. Who you are, why you're calling, and what you want. Now, with the what we want, I'll get into that next. Here's some pro tips. We're going to take it to the next level, okay? You're going to match their first word, okay? They say hello, you say hello. Not one of you matched my first word. You all said some other word. I said hello, you guys all said something different, okay? The reason that you're going to match their first word, there's a couple of reasons. Is hello the same as hi? Yes or no? Is hi the same as hey? Yes or no? No, it's not. Okay. Do you remember in science class they talk about that like lizard brain back here that developed that's always looking for what's going to eat me in the world? What doesn't match? Our brains are hardwired to look for what's different, what's not right, what's going to be what is a threat. So if somebody answers that phone and says hi, just say the same damn word back to them so it doesn't stick out as different. If they say, hey, this is so-and-so, you say, hey, so-and-so. If they say hello, you say hello. Just match it. It's cheap. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't need you demonstrating your creativity with your first word. Just match theirs, okay? That's one reason. Another reason, what do you have to be doing in order to match their first word?
Listen.
Listening. Thank you. You have to be actively listening from the very first word in order to catch it. Okay? So it will keep you focused on that person and on that conversation, and will also remind you this is a unique person. Because if this is your 10th conversation of the day, guess what? It's always their first. It's always their first conversation with you. Yeah? All right, good. So you're going to match their first word. You're going to use their name assumptively. Nobody asked if it was me, but I guarantee that at least half of you people watching this camera right now, when you call somebody, you ask if it's them. And you either do it with your words or you do it with your tone. Show me your hands. How many of you know you ask if it's them? Okay. All right, let me ask you a question. I love Noelle. Noelle's like, no, I don't do it. I don't do it at all. Okay, in the year 2025, who calls your cell phone and doesn't know it's you? Who?
Salesperson.
Salespeople. Yeah? Okay, so if your phone rings and you don't recognize that number, you answer it, against your better judgment, and you don't recognize their voice and they ask if it's you, 3 strikes, man. That is definitely a salesperson. And you were like, how quickly can I get off this phone? Versus, don't recognize it. Yep, don't recognize you. Oh, but you know who I am and you sound like you know who I am. I better figure out who you are. It lengthens the period of time where that judgment has to be suspended. Okay? You guys get it? That's why you have to go in assumptively. And you know who they are. I like to joke that telemarketers ask, debt collectors know. Debt collectors know it's you. I know it's you. Oh, no. I know it's you until you prove it's not you. There's a lot of laughter going on here. It sounds like some people have gotten some debt collector phone calls. Okay. Then you're going to ask a direct question, right? Here's what I heard. The one guy that's gotten some training from us asked, are you planning on buying in the next few months or just window shopping at this point? He asked a very direct question to that buyer intent. The rest of you were like, I want to see if I can help you with your home search. Have you seen anything you liked? How can I help you? Those are very, I don't want to say weak. They are very soft questions, okay? They aren't directing the conversation very well. And I want you to understand this concept. You guys remember Jeff? Remember Jeff, the car sales guy? Okay. We were already prepared to say no to Jeff before we walked onto that car lot, right? We were ready for that. Okay. There's 2 camps of leads, 2 different camps. Camp 1, the one we want and we're always looking for, is that camp of prospects who want something from us, information, answers, or an action. They want to see something, they want to buy something, they want to list something. Okay? They want something from us. That's camp 1. Camp 2 are the people who don't want something from us. They don't have any burning questions to get answered. They aren't trying to go look at a house or trying to list their house. Okay? Camp 2 is what we were just practicing. Random person registers, traded their information to look at pictures. That exchange is over. When we then reach out to them and they have no intention of talking to a salesperson or getting questions answered or taking an action, we need a strong directive question. We need a strong question to direct that conversation. Versus the people who want something, that can be softer. Oh, you're trying to see a house? Hey, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Yeah, you can ask those soft questions because they're driving the ship. If that prospect is not driving the ship, you have to. Okay? So that question that we heard Owen ask, are you planning on buying in the next few months, is a great directive question. And then bullet point 4, he played to my likely objection. Or are you just window shopping at this point? That's the science behind what you heard him do. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Now, why would we teach you to give the prospect the objection to give back to you? Why? Before you answer that question, what does every salesperson want you to do? Buy something or make a decision, right? What does every salesperson try to avoid or argue with you about if you do it? You saying no to them. Every salesperson tries to avoid you saying no, not yet, not with you, correct? Right? That's why we hate talking to them. That is why we hate talking to salespeople. So if you're the kind of salesperson that shows up that says, hi, would you like to buy something or make a decision? Or would you just like to tell me no? You're like, holy shit, you're awesome. I just want to tell you no. Thank you for doing that. And now I feel more comfortable because I got the no out of the way. Remember I said we were already prepared to say no to Jeff before we walked onto that car lot? Right? If Jeff walks up and he's like, hey, you looking to buy a car today? Or are you just having killing some time looking at cars? You'd be like, all right, Jeff, maybe you're not as much of a scumbag as I think all salespeople are. I think you're okay. Right? Hey, that's awesome, Jeff. Yep, not buying a car today. Hey, cool. We're good. I probably still have permission to talk to Jeff now has permission to continue talking to me. All right, so that's why. This is all in the intro, everybody. And we work on intros on all different lead types. But this kind of psychology makes a massive difference for you. Okay, good. So here's this very simple script based on these principles. You're going to match their word, use their name assumptively. This is your name with brokerage. And then you're going to tell them why you're calling. You registered on my website to look at homes for sale. Are you planning on buying in the next few months? Or are you just window shopping at this point? This follows the principles. Okay? All right, so who are my role players? Let's do it. Derek Turchi. Give me a call.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Dale. It's Derek with DSR. Just give me a call to see if you're looking to make a purchase in the next 6 months or if you're just browsing.
Okay. Good college try. A round of applause, everybody. Yeah? What did he miss? He didn't match the first word. And you didn't tell me why you were calling. That's kind of an important thing, right?
Right.
You said who you were, which was great. You asked me a good direct question. Are you buying in the next few months? Gave me my objection, which is, or are you just window shopping? The piece that was missing is you registered on my site or you requested info about, right? That why I'm calling you is also a good psychological piece because do you hear in the words, oh, I'm here because of an action you took. You did this. You caused this, right? So kind of pushes the ownership back on them. Good. Let's do one more. It was Patricia. Where did Prince go? I don't see him. Prince.
I have a question first.
Yes.
In the introduction, when you're saying I'm so and so, instead of saying I'm a realtor from XYZ, is it better to say this is client care?
Well, here's my first of all, the consumer doesn't give a shit. They don't care who's calling them. Client care, salespeople, real estate agent, it's all the same to them. Now, my only concern is that if you're going to have a substantive conversation with the consumer, do you want to, you as the consumer, Prince, do you want
Yep.
to talk to the authority or do you want to talk to their lackey?
Authority.
The authority. Yeah. So
Yep.
this client care BS is, oh, I'm somebody's lackey. I'm actually not the important person.
Mm.
Because these people that aren't trying to get something, they don't care that you are client care. All they hear is, I wasn't even important enough to be interrupted by the important people. If you're calling the people who want something, they're like, oh, I need something from your company or something. And you get client care, they're like, all right, cool. They care enough to pay people to take care of people like me. All right, great. I still want something. Let's do it. Yeah. But if you're going to interrupt me out of the blue, you better be an important person, or at least the point person who can answer my questions and knows stuff. How does that make sense?
Okay, makes sense.
Okay. All right. Let's do the role play. You say ring, ring, I'll answer the phone.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Dale. This is Prince from EXP. You were on our site. Are you looking to buy soon or just window shopping at this point?
Hey, round of applause, everybody. Good job, Prince. Now, you said you were on our site. Not bad. Still, it pushes it back onto them. This is something you did. But listen to this. What's the difference between you were on our site versus you registered to look at homes? You were on our site versus you requested information about your home's value. Can you hear how much more intent and pushing it back on them and specificity there is to what I'm saying, the actions you took that caused this call right now with me? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on a lot of sites. How many of you have been on multiple sites today already? Many of us.
Done.
Yeah? Okay. Good. All right, let's move on to the next thing. I always run out of time. I'm going to try. I promise I'm going to try, everybody. At the end of this, I'm going to show you how you can do additional training with us. Okay. Let's see. So those were intros, objections. Let's go. So Derek, Prince, Patricia. Hello, Patricia. Unmute yourself. We're going to role play. And then my other person is Owen. Okay, cool. Owen, did you do an accelerator training with us? No. Okay. Maybe you saw somebody. Are you in training? Are you one of our students right now? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. I don't want Owen the ringer here, like stealing my thunder by doing everything perfectly. No. Patricia. So yes. Same scenario. Okay. I'm one of these people. I've registered on your site. You call me up and you use the script I just showed you. And the question that you're going to ask is, are you planning on buying in the next few months, or are you just window shopping at this point? Okay. So we're going to do it a couple times, and I'm going to give you different objections, and we're going to see what you do. Okay? And you're in the trust tree. Everybody loves you and is rooting for you, and they appreciate sacrifice.
Okay.
All right. So go from your question. Are you planning on
buying or selling in the next 3 months, or are you just window shopping?
Oh, thanks for the call, but we're not going to be buying until next year.
Okay. Is there anything I can do in the meantime for you?
Okay. Thank you, Patricia. Let's do it again. Go from your question. I'm going to give you a different objection.
Okay. Are you planning on buying or selling in the next 3 months, or are you just window shopping?
Oh, thanks for the call, but I'm not ready to work with an agent yet.
Okay. Do you have any specific questions for me in your search for an agent?
Okay. Thank you, Patricia. Everybody, round of applause for Patricia. Just doing it. Good job. Owen, same thing.
Are you planning on buying in the next few months, or are you looking for more information on properties?
Oh, thanks for the call, man, but I'm not going to be buying until next year.
Okay. And what's important to you about next year?
Okay. Thank you. And let's do it again.
Are you planning on buying the next few months, or are you just looking at properties currently?
Oh, thanks for the call, man, but I'm not ready to work with an agent.
No, are you wanting to represent yourself, or just not in the right time for hiring an agent?
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Now, let's talk about objections, and then I'll point out to you guys what Patricia and Owen did. Who here thinks that they sound decent on what they did? By show of hands. Yeah? Who thinks they sound awesome? Who thinks you're better than them? Who will not raise their hand no matter what comes out of my mouth? There we go. Okay, good. As long as we're honest with each other. All right, objections. Do you remember Jeff? You guys remember Jeff, the car sales guy? We walk onto Jeff's lot. We're like, not today, Jeff. I'm not the one, Jeff, right? I'm not buying a car today, Jeff. If we tell Jeff, I'm not buying a car today, we probably feel right and justified about that, correct? We probably don't want Jeff to try to change our mind, right? And we probably hope that Jeff is going to drop the topic of us buying a car quickly. Right, everyone? Does anybody want Jeff to try to change your mind? Does anybody want Jeff to argue with you? Does anybody want Jeff to keep harping on the topic of you buying a car today when you have no intention or plan or budget to do so? The answer is no. All right? So we're all on the same page when it comes to objections. Now, if this is where we're all at when we object, when we say, no, not yet, not with you, when your leads say this to you, this is where their mind is at. Here's another big difference in my coaching and training company. There are 5 things that you can do. 5 verbal things that you can do when you're faced with an objection, any kind of objection. The first thing that we all do, one of the things we're all taught, right, is closing, asking for a decision or an action. The very first thing that Patricia did when I said I'm not going to buy until next year, she closed me. Yeah. I think she said, is there anything I can do for you between now and then? That's a close. You asked me for an action or a decision, right? You made an offer. The next thing that and this is kind of basic, like you hear salespeople do this all the time that don't have good sales training. Hey, I'm not going to buy a car today. Oh, got it. Well, if I had the right car, just the right color at the right price, would you at least consider it? Yeah? That's a persuade and a close. No, Jeff. Maybe you're deaf. I said, I'm not buying a car today. So pitching, persuading, leading, or making offers, and then closing and asking for the decision. These are basic. We all understand these. The third thing you can do is educating. Oh, okay, you're not buying a car today. Well, I don't know if you know this, but car inventory is exceptionally low. We see that it's going to be even lower over the next 8 to 12 months. And so if I had the perfect car at the right price today, would you at least want to go see it? Yeah, that's educating, pitching, closing. Okay, you guys hear it? The fourth thing you can do is disputing, arguing with a perspective or decision. Okay, arguing with a perspective or decision. Jeff, I'm not buying a car today. Oh, got it. Well, listen, if I know people like you, you really want to have a new car all the time because you look like a kind of guy that loves to be important or whatever. And I don't know if you know this, but the car inventory over the next 6 to 18, blah, 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 right? So disputing, educating, pitching, closing. These are the things that most other training companies teach you how to do. So if we think about those principles that the prospect feels right and justified about saying, no, not yet, not with you. They don't want us to argue. They don't want us to try to change their mind. And they want us to drop the damn topic. Then these 4 things are not the best thing to do in the case of most objections. The best thing that you can do, and the thing that we start with first, is pure discovery questions. Okay? Pure discovery questions. Understanding how the prospect made the decision that they're now telling you, right? So if I walk onto Jeff's lot and I say, Jeff, I'm not buying a car today, and Jeff asks me, hey, got it. How did you decide today was not the day to buy a car, right? That's a discovery question. Yeah? Now, I'm no car salesperson. That's not car scripting. I just want to demonstrate the difference for you between him trying to argue or pitch or close or educate me. If he just asked me a pure discovery question, oh, got it. Hey, that's great. I hate buying cars too. How is it that how are you so lucky that you don't need to buy a car, right? Oh, I'd love to tell you, Jeff, why it is that I don't need to buy a car and don't have a budget for one and don't want one. So asking pure discovery questions is the best place to start. So Patricia, thank you for going, demonstrated for us that she was closing in one of them and then tried to find sort of other ways of offering me something, right? What questions do you have about the home buying process? When I said I'm going to be buying next year, what questions do you have about the home buying process is really kind of off topic, frankly. Because when people object to us, we teach this concept called follow the no. And Owen, whatever training Owen has gotten, his first question when I said not buying till next year, he said, what's important about buying next year? That is a perfect example of the type of things that we train, which is asking a good, pure discovery question. Now, the second time, Owen did what I call throwing darts, right? I said, hey, I'm not ready to work with an agent. And Owen asked, well, does that mean that you plan on representing yourself or something else? He was like throwing a dart, trying to figure out the reason that I'm saying I'm not ready for an agent. The problem with that strategy is that if you throw a dart and you miss, what do you have to do? Throw another dart You have to keep throwing darts to try to get it right. What was that other principle we said about objections? Hopefully you stopped talking about this. Yeah? When you start saying no to a salesperson, how much longer are you going to talk to them? How many more questions are you going to answer about that topic that you already said no about? Not long, not many, right? So throwing darts blindly is not the most efficient thing to do. So in my company, we teach what's called the question game, right? And you have to ask direct, not indirect questions to understand their thought process. You can't close them because we already decided that makes no sense. You can't make them wrong because everybody hates it when somebody makes them wrong. When's the last time you tried to point out a character flaw to one of your family members or close friends? How much did they enjoy that conversation with you? Yeah? Don't make people wrong. They hate it. Don't use the word why. Why wouldn't we use the word why? Why aren't you buying a car today? When in your lifetime has anything coming from another human being, starting with why, been a good thing? Never. Why is confrontational, right? So you just don't use why. And tell me more. I don't know if you guys have seen some sales trainers are like, oh, if you get stuck, if they object to you, just ask, tell me more. Yeah, you don't have to figure out anything. Just say, tell me more. Tell me more is lazy. Okay? We can teach you how to formulate much better questions. And Owen even gave us one of those questions. So we, normally I would role play these with you, but I'm literally running out of time. So I'm not buying until next year. Owen asked a great question. What's important about buying next year, right? That's an example of asking a good pure discovery question. How did you decide to buy next year? What's important about buying next year? Is there an advantage to buying next year? I'm not ready to work with an agent yet. Oh, got it. How did you decide you aren't ready to work with an agent? What about working with an agent aren't you ready for? You guys hear the cadence? We decided to rent for another year instead of buying. Oh, got it. How did you decide to rent for another year instead of buying? Looks like Goldie has a question. Go for it, Goldie.
Dale, how do you respond to you're asking too many questions?
Stop asking so many questions. That's my first piece of advice. Ask better questions, Goldie.
But then I'm doing the discovery.
Okay. So if you're doing discovery and they tell you that you're asking too many questions, you don't have rapport with them. Because your questions should be their invitation to tell you their story. And people, if they have enough rapport with you, will tell you their story. If you are asking them questions and it sounds like you taking their measurements, when you get to their inseam, they're going to be like, this is uncomfortable. Let's stop doing that. Do you get my point? Okay. So Goldie's one of our students. I've worked with you. You have a tendency to take measurements rather than have a personable interaction with somebody. Does that make sense?
Is that a question?
No. I'm making a statement. My observation of you is you have a tendency to take measurements rather than have a personable conversation with somebody, story to story.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring some of your call recordings to class, to when we review calls. It's on the schedule on the website. Bring some of your recordings and the trainer will help you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Goldie's not a plant, everybody, but she happens to be one of our students. Okay. I'm totally running out of time, but you guys get this point about objection handling? This is step number 2. This is the second part. I'm going to very quickly talk to you about these and show you how you guys can do additional training with us if you want. I will be back again doing more training for this organization because we do it all the time. So appointments, right? Normally what we would do is I would have you role play with me and I would say, hey, here's my scenario for this appointment. Here's the spoiler. Basically, you need to craft a narrative for them that answers these items. Because of these factors, because this is right for you, this is what we should do next. And here's what you're going to get out of it, and here's how little time it's going to take. Why you should risk meeting with the salesperson. We don't have time to role play today, but I'm going to move on to this one. And you reduce the risk and the time. You build a narrative and customize the close for them specifically, and then we role play it. Value propositions, as I said, if I called some of you up here and said, why should I buy a home with you? Why should I list my home with you? First of all, some of you would turn your cameras off and you would run away and you'd be like, oh my God, do not ask me that question. Others of you might take a stab at it, right? And it might sound okay, but you probably won't get down to some results, which is actually what the person's going to get out of it. So whenever they're considering whether to work with you, they want to know, why should I choose you? Why should I trust you? What will I get out of it? So to make a value prop statement, you need a basic one for a buyer, a basic one for a seller, and we call that the elevator pitch. So you take 2 or 3 of these generic outcomes for a buyer, 2 or 3 generic outcomes for a seller, and you hang them on this format. We, or my team, with our knowledge, experience, or process, give you result, result, result. And it ends up sounding something like this, as an example. Like I said, I just flew down to Tampa to do a training for the #1 broker down there. And hey, why should I list my home with you? Hey, I appreciate that. I've been helping sellers through the selling process for the last 20 years. I'm also on the #1 team in Tampa. What that means for you, which is important, is that my team and I give you the most access possible to the entire market of buyers. We bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to ensure that you have the best selling experience, avoid common issues that pop up, and ultimately sell your home for the most money possible. Now, how many of you, if I called you up and I said, why should I list my house with you? If you could pull that out of your pocket, how many of you would have unshakable confidence in doing that? By show of hands. Yeah? You need to have these kind of statements, and we work on these things in my company. You build it, being able to just say it generically like that gives you a massive confidence boost. Then to be able to customize it when you're actually talking to a buyer prospect or a seller prospect, and you can do the thing we all should do, which we also work with you, which is, hey, what's most important to you about the agent you choose to purchase your home with? What's most important to you about the agent you list your home with? You get those nuggets. Oh, you want A and you want B and you want to avoid C. Well, that's amazing, because my team and I literally invented A. We specialize in B, and none of our clients have ever experienced C. That's a customized close, right? Okay, that's value propositions. We teach you how to do those things. All right. Normally I would tell you a story about how my daughter has ADHD, and I wasn't able to get her medication because of the terrible scripting I was using, and then I changed it, and magically I was able to get the pharmacist to tell me whether they had the drug I needed. And then I tell you about training if you want to do additional training with us. So we have 2 options. One is our 12-week boot camp. You can scan this little QR code here if you're interested in more information about it. But basically, if you're setting between 0 and 3 new appointments per week, the 12-week boot camp is perfect for you. It's a complete lead to appointment script training series live with my trainers, where we teach you how to increase the number of appointments that you're setting every week by improving your skill set. It is the absolute best objection handling process that you could possibly find in our industry right now. And you get weekly accountability. Right, Goldie? Do you get accountability, Goldie?
Absolutely.
And we have an ultimate top producer schedule that will help you implement, because that's the second part, right? We've got the skills, we've got the schedule, and then we've got the CRM lead process. So we have our never lose a lead CRM process. I've been following Alex Hormozy, and he said name everything. So I just named it the never lose a lead CRM process. But basically, it's a very simplistic process to help you find your leads in your system. We just helped Goldie. She has Agent Locator. She was having issues with not being clear on who to talk to next, and we helped her do that. And she's much more proficient now. So that's the 12-week boot camp. If you're interested in that, we have a couple of options on pricing. So just scan the QR code and click the button. If you are consistently setting between 3 plus new appointments every single week, you should consider Inner Circle. And Inner Circle is, we focus heavily on goal tracking monthly, as well as a monthly goal review in a small supportive group of other agents all trying to do the same thing. You have a weekly peer group accountability. So you're with other agents just like you, trying to advance your businesses, which that one is huge, because who can listen to me the whole time? I can't. But having other voices in the group makes a big difference. This also is really good if you're also focused on database and referral business growth, because once we get down how to work those stranger business leads and have a good process and good scripting, the next step is let's work on the database growth and referral business growth. And cross-market networking and collaboration. This one is huge. A lot of the students that are in Inner Circle love the fact that they get to collaborate with other people in other markets and discover how they're doing things, what their best practices are. So scan the QR code if you're interested in either one of these. Just check the box. We'll reach out to you and answer any questions that you have about it. Sound good? Okay, cool. Do me a favor, unmute yourself. Tell me one thing you got out of training today, other than the fact that Dale sucks at time management and couldn't get it all in.
I would say, like, for me, I have a tendency to go back to my programming, my previous programming, and yeah, it's true that definitely resonated. That you know what you should say, but then somebody throws something out of the ordinary, and you just go back to your regular pattern. That's definitely me. Yeah.
Getting shot at. Yeah. Owen.
Definitely asking the right questions to probe the conversation further, opposed to trying to just tell them something.
Good. I love that. Who else? One more.
Being more direct. Don't
Yeah.
beat around the bush.
Good. I love it. Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you that scan and enter your info, does somebody have a question or something to say? I just heard somebody. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I've taken your course. It's excellent, by the way. I use it. One question. When I'm calling people that I've called them 20, 30 times, they haven't answered, but they've been looking at properties many, many times. I'm starting to just go right out and say, look, I see you're interested in this property. Do you want to see the inside of it? Would you like to give me a call? Here's my private cell. Is that okay?
I think it is. Now, I want to address, I like what you said, but I want to address the people that have been back to your website 30 times, okay? Now, I've had a website and been generating internet leads since the year 2011, okay? 2011. And every year, we have a certain number of people that have been on the website between 2 years, 3 years, 4 years who never responded to anything. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, Dale, I like this one. Can we go see it? And you're like, who the hell are you? Yeah, we can, right? It just happens. So you will collect these junkies, property junkies, and you just never know when they're going to hit bottom. But one day they're going to hit bottom and they're going to be like, let's go see that house, or can we talk about selling my house? So don't be too hard on them. I like to hit people heavy up front and then let them hang out and look at don't punish them for coming back to your website. Just monitor them. Every once in a while, you're going to make them an offer like you articulated, which I think is well written, but they don't have to answer you, and don't punish them. They will we talked about this, Goldie, in our Inner Circle meeting, is you can just set up a filter to say, hey, show me anybody that is a chronic user of the site, get them off of my list of people that have come back that I should be working. And you just let them go into their own special list, that you go to occasionally, but let them do their thing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we'll see some of you in training. I believe we have a new boot camp that's starting in a week. Yes, Noel, are you waving goodbye or did you have something to say? Oh, waving goodbye. Thank you. All right, everybody. Great seeing you. Thank you.